Embrace life's challenges. We all have challenges in life that we've thought about taking on, whether it's going back to school after a few years, starting a new job in a completely different field, or taking on a physical challenge like myself, whether it's an Ironman or a marathon. But why haven't we taken on these challenges? The answer is fear. It may be a personal fear, it may be a social fear, it may be a fear based off the naysayers. And the naysayers are people that tell you you can't do something or that it's impossible. Well, in 2015, my teammate Caitlin Miller and myself rowed across the Atlantic Ocean in the Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge. Now, this race had us go from the Canary Islands off the coast of Western Africa 3,000 miles to Antigua in the Caribbean. This was an unassisted crossing, meaning we received no outside help, had no motor, had no sails, only used oars to propel our 23-foot-long boat across the ocean. And in total, it took us 58 days, 5 hours, 6 minutes to make the crossing. Now you can imagine the naysayers when we told our friends and family what we were attempting to do. Many people didn't know what to say. Others said it was impossible. No one could do this. And to their point, there have been more people in space than have rowed across the Atlantic. So we knew it was a daunting challenge. But the first step you need to take when taking on a challenge is believing in yourself. And now it's going to be hard to do sometimes. And there's going to be moments of self-doubt or nervousness. I had them both before my challenge and during. But in those moments, I told myself, I can do this, and I will do this. And I just would repeat that over and over again as needed in those particular moments. And that allowed me to keep fighting and keep on pushing through whatever I was going through. The next thing that we needed to do was commit to the challenge. Now, Caitlin and I had to do this both mentally and physically. Physically, we had to prepare our bodies for the long, grueling months at sea. We had to have a proper lifting program, but also had to put on weight as I would lose 30 pounds at the end of the 2-month journey. At the same time as our physical training, Caitlin and I were seniors in college, we were the president and vice president of the rowing team, and we were the men and women's coach of the rowing team. So we had a full plate of responsibilities. And it would have been easy for us to, want to take a day off because we were tired or we had to tend to other tasks, but we knew we couldn't do that. We knew if we took one day off, it could lead to 2, and then it could lead to a week. And all we would be doing would be making our challenge that much more difficult. And you can't do that because it's already a challenge. It's already difficult. For the mental training, we had to go over to England to take special ocean rowing classes. These classes were in sea survival, sea navigation, first aid at sea. And these would prove vital to us in certain situations that we faced while in the ocean. Now, people started to see how committed to this challenge we were, how serious we were. And they started to believe in us. And what you need when taking on a challenge is a good support group. This is going to be most likely your friends and family. They're going to be there for you in the tough times that you face. And even though our friends and family weren't with us physically while in the ocean, knowing that you have people that believe in your message and what you're trying to do allows you to keep fighting through those tough moments. And these tough moments, I like to call mini challenges. These are the challenges within the challenge. These are the obstacles in the path to success. And you need to know that you're going to face them. And today I want to share with you 3 memorable mini challenges that Caitlin and I faced while in the ocean. The first occurred about halfway through the race in January. Now, this race is purposefully started in December because it's after hurricane season. But Mother Nature does as she wants, and she brewed us up a Category 1 hurricane in January. The first hurricane in January in the Atlantic since 1938. Just our luck, right? And so you may be wondering, what was going through your mind? What could you do? Well, there's nothing I could do. I can't change the weather. I can't change the conditions. So the quicker that I accepted that as fact, the easier it would allow me to get through this situation. And so I had to put a positive spin on the hand that we had been dealt. So I told myself, at least I'm getting more rest than usual. Now, Caitlin and I were used to rowing in 3-hour shifts. So I would row for 3 hours while she rested, and then we would switch. And we would do this 24/7. But now, in the cabin, I'm getting to rest and sleep a lot more than usual. I'm allowing my body to recover. It's not aching as much. I'm allowing myself to properly hydrate, not having to be out in the hot sun sweating. And this positive mindset allowed me to get through the long 3 days that we endured in the cabins. And finally, the conditions improved, and we were excited to get rowing again. The next mini challenge occurred about 2 weeks before we got into Antigua. I was getting off one of my night shifts, prepared to get into the cabin, grab a quick snack, and go to sleep. But as I was getting into the cabin, Caitlin told me we were on a collision course with another vessel. And this would happen from time to time during our row, but in all other cases, the other vessel would quickly go off course, the alarm that we had would go silent, and all would be good. But this was a different case. This vessel got within 2 nautical miles, the closest any vessel ever got to us, so we decided we should give it a call on the radio, make sure they acknowledge our position. As we can see them on our monitors, we wanted to make sure that they could see our tiny boat on their monitors. So we give them a call, no response. The vessel then gets within 1 nautical mile. We radio them again, no response. Caitlin and I are in complete training mode, figuring out the best course of action, and we figure we're going to continuously call this vessel, seeing that's the best chance that we can get their attention. There's no way for us to row out of their way at this point. There's no way for us to jump overboard and swim out of their way at this point. There's only 2 outcomes to this scenario. 1, the vessel continues on its course and runs straight over us, crushing us without feeling a thing, as this is a 14,000-ton vessel, and we are less than 1 ton. The other outcome is that perhaps the vessel hears our call or at least reacts to it. And fortunately and lucky for us, that's what happened. The vessel then left the area, but it got so close that we were able to smell the diesel fuel from its engines. And with this smell, Caitlin and I were awakened to the reality of the situation. We were in complete training mode through the whole process, but the diesel fuel smell made us aware of how lucky we were, and we properly freaked out. We had realized how close to death we really were, and I continuously played this scenario over and over again in my head, and the only outcome should have been for that ship to run us over, as it never responded to any of our calls. So needless to say, from that point on, we rowed very quickly to Antigua. But before we got there, we had one more mini challenge to face. And it's when we hit a dry patch about 400 miles away. And when I say dry patch, I mean a stretch where we're not getting the miles that we were accustomed getting in a 24-hour period. In good days, we were getting to 50 to 60 miles per day. And in this rough stretch, we're getting maybe 10, if that. And it's extremely frustrating and demoralizing to row 3 hours in the hot sun. You're sweating. You're putting all of this energy to get to your goal. You can taste the burger and fries you've been promised in Antigua. You can picture your family's faces that you haven't seen in 2 months. You're putting all of this energy on the oars to get into the cabin and see that you've gone maybe a mile, maybe less. You feel like you're getting nowhere close to Antigua, and you feel like you're letting your teammate down. But again, in this tough moment, I knew I needed to stay positive to get through this. So I told myself, at least we're moving forward. Yes, we're not getting to Antigua as quickly as I'd like, but we're still moving in a positive direction. We're not staying pat. We're not getting pushed back. We will get to Antigua eventually. And though this dry patch lasted much, much longer than I really wanted it to, Caitlin and I kept pushing, kept fighting, and we got through it. And shortly thereafter, we got to Antigua. And so today I want to leave you with a quote from Christopher Columbus. He says, "You can never cross the ocean unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore." And this quote is great for my talk because, one, I took the same route as Christopher Columbus. But two, it really highlights my first point in that you need to believe in yourself. You need to take that plunge towards your challenge. That first step is believing in yourself. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Then you need to commit to the challenge. If you want it, you'll go all out to have it. You'll do everything you need to do to be successful. Then find that support group. This is going to be your friends and family. They're going to help you get through those tough times that you face within the challenge. These are the mini challenges. Know that you're going to face them and stay positive to get through them. So keep on fighting, keep on pushing, and embrace life's challenges. Thank you.